Hey gamers, the old and young, beat-em-up games are just better with friends. There's something satisfying about jumping into pure arcade chaos with 4 players, spamming combos, stealing heals, reviving teammates, and bullying waves of enemies together. So in this video, we're looking at the top 15 modern beat-em-up games for 4-player co-op that are not only fun solo, but become way more chaotic and entertaining when played with friends. Alright then, without further ado, let's get started. Night Slasher's Remake is a horror beat-em-up that genuinely feels like a straight-up 90s arcade game brought back to life. The remake's visuals do a solid job of selling that atmosphere too. Colors are brighter, monster designs have more detail, and the gore effects are pretty brutal. The combat gets especially fun once things become hectic. There's something weirdly satisfying about suplexing zombies or throwing monsters into a crowd of enemies. And because the gameplay is simple, it's the kind of game that's really easy to enjoy with friends in co-op. The difficulty balance can feel pretty strange though. On easy mode, the game is almost too relaxed, to the point where you can spam special attacks non-stop without worrying much about dying. But once you move up to normal or hard, it suddenly turns into a brutal old-school arcade quarter eater. Enemies become damage sponges, attacks hit way harder, and some bosses start getting pretty annoying if you're playing solo. Have you ever wanted a new game, checked the price, and instantly changed your mind? Gaming lately has been expensive as hell, so if you still want to play more while spending less, I've got a solution for you, and that is ENEBA. ENEBA is a digital marketplace made for gamers with over 40,000 products. We're talking PC games, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, gift cards, even in-game currency, basically everything in one place. And the best part? Prices are often way cheaper than official stores, plus there are cashback deals that help you save even more. What I also like is they support a lot of different payment methods, so you've got flexibility depending on what you usually use. It just makes everything feel more convenient and safe overall. They also support secure payments and offer 24/7 customer support, so if anything goes wrong, there's always someone available to help you out. So if you're the type who waits for sales, hunts cheaper DLC, or just wants games without overpaying, ENEBA is honestly one of the first places you should check. So what are you waiting for? Go check out ENEBA through the link in the description, grab the best deals, and start playing your games today. And by using my link, you'll not just get awesome deals, but also help support this channel. Alright then, let's get back to the list. Next, we've got Jitsu Squad, and this is one of the most underrated beat-em-up games out there. The hype energy, the crazy flashy skill effects, the absolutely ridiculous combos that turn the entire screen into a rainbow explosion of chaos. This game goes hard. In this game, you can choose between 4 humanoid animal characters, and every single one of them plays differently. There's a ninja tanuki, a cyber ninja rabbit, a kung fu frog with telekinetic powers, and a barbarian wild boar. The gameplay also isn't just brainless button mashing. You've got parries, special moves, dash cancels, insane combo chains, and you can definitely feel some fighting game DNA mixed into the combat system. Yup, co-op is easily the biggest reason to play this game. Jumping in with friends, spamming combos, and filling the screen with crazy colors and effects is fun. Sometimes the action gets so wild you barely know what's going on, but honestly, that's what makes it entertaining. Shing is a game that delivers fast arcade action, flashy combat, and chaotic co-op fun. And yeah, it's actually a pretty good. The whole theme feels like an over-the-top anime filled with ninjas, swords, yokai monsters, and characters acting completely insane. Even the game's name already tells you what to expect. Blades slashing non-stop while the screen turns into pure chaos. The visuals are pretty damn nice too. The colorful 2.5D style looks great, character animations feel lively, and the boss fights have this ridiculous cartoon action vibe that actually sticks with you. There are also small puzzles and environmental sections that help break things up, so the gameplay doesn't turn into non-stop brainless enemy punching. But the dialogue is cringe in my opinion. The humor can feel pretty cheap, and some of the comments from the male characters toward the female characters try way too hard to sound edgy. Thankfully, the combat is fun enough to make you tolerate all the talking that sometimes makes you want to say, "Please shut up, let us keep fighting." This beat-em-up game, called Mayhem Brawler, gives off a classic arcade vibe while still feeling modern. You'll run through a city full of monsters, vampires, mutants, and werewolves while playing as superpowered law enforcement agents from an organization called Stronghold. You know the gameplay, do combos, throw objects, spam skills, and move to the next stage. Luckily, the combat feels smooth and responsive, so beating up enemies stays fun even if the game doesn't do anything super new. One cool thing is the branching story. After beating some bosses, you can choose if you want to arrest them or let them go. Those choices change the stages you play and the ending you get. That also helps the replay value, so the game doesn't feel too repetitive. And of course, the real fun is the local co-op. You can play with up to 4 players, and the more crowded and chaotic things get, the more fun it becomes. Sadly, there's no online mode, so if your friends want to join the madness, their lazy asses need to come over to your house.
But you can't touch me. I'm not a spell, guys. Take those minions down quickly.
Initiating combat!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind is a dream come true for 90s kids. This game gives off classic arcade beat-em-up but mixed with a ton of Power Rangers nostalgia. What makes it different from other beat-em-ups is the super scalar sections. Sometimes you ride a motorcycle, sometimes you control a Zord, and sometimes you become the Megazord. Some of these parts are seriously awesome and make the game feel more fresh and crazy. Co-op is clearly the main star here. Playing with friends while spamming skills and throwing enemies around is pure chaos in the best way. The game supports up to 6 players too, even though the PlayStation version is still stuck at 4 players for now. The replay value is also really solid. After beating the game, you can still unlock the Green Ranger, chase S ranks, do speedruns, find collectibles, and try harder difficulties. So this isn't the kind of game you finish once and uninstall right away. Even though the game still has some rough parts, especially in the Zord sections that seriously need more fixing, Rita's Rewind already got several updates back in April. The developers seem really happy and excited to listen to player feedback, both the good and the bad stuff.
That was fun.
Dragon's Crown Pro is proof that fun gameplay can keep people coming back even when the game is just a slightly polished version of an old release. You pick a class, jump into dungeons, beat the hell out of monsters, grab a loot, and repeat until you completely lose track of time. Simple, but addictive, and yeah, the character designs are still the same as back then, super horny and heavily over-sexualized. Some people will probably hate it, others just see it as part of the game's identity. Either way, this game absolutely does not hold back with that stuff. Playing solo is still decent, but Dragon's Crown is at its best in co-op. Local or online, both turn into chaotic madness that'll have you laughing and yelling dumb crap at your friends the entire time. Thankfully, the online mode is way more stable compared to the old version. Joining lobbies is easy, players can hop in without any hassle, and there's barely any annoying lag. For a beat-em-up game, that matters a lot because once the combat starts feeling delayed, the whole thing turns to garbage fast. Mother Russia Bleeds is a beat-em-up packed with blood, drugs, broken bones, smashed faces, and a bunch of messed up people beating the hell out of each other in filthy Russian streets. The story is pretty simple. You get kidnapped, turned into a test subject for a drug called Necro, then escape and go on a revenge rampage while the whole world around you falls apart. Combat is solid, nothing complicated, but it feels good. You punch, kick, grab, throw stuff lying around, then use Necro either to heal or to boost your damage and speed so everything hits harder. Each character plays a bit differently so it doesn't get boring fast. In co-op, it gets way more intense and messy in a fun way, with constant yelling and bodies flying everywhere on screen. While the game echoes the design of classic beat-em-ups, it also includes modern conveniences like adjustable difficulty, checkpointing, and AI companions for solo play. For those of you who've already played River City Girls, now the sequel continues the chaotic story of Kyoko and Misako right after the events of the first game. The story is still just as ridiculous. One minute they're on a burger date with their boyfriends, the next River City is thrown back into chaos because a revenge-hungry Yakuza family shows up to stir trouble again. Story-wise, the game still nails its humor. The dialogue is casual, annoying in a funny way, and often completely absurd, but that's exactly what keeps it entertaining and alive. Gameplay gameplay doesn't fall behind either. Combat is still the core of everything, and the more skills you unlock from the dojo, the more ways you get to beat enemies down. It feels really satisfying when you manage to link long combo chains and turn enemies into nothing more than practice dummies. There's also a new recruit system where certain enemies can be turned into temporary allies to help you in fights. The idea sounds cool on paper, but in practice, it can feel a bit clunky, since enemies often get taken out too fast during combos before you even get the chance to recruit them. Towerborne is a mix of a beat-em-up and a light RPG system. You can spam basic attacks if you want, but if you actually want to play it properly, you'll need to learn combos, mix light and heavy attacks, and use your class skills at the right time. There's combo depth, skills to experiment with, and a class build system that actually gets pretty solid if you invest time into it. The 4 classes also feel very different: a tanky shield user, a heavy brute who hits like a truck, a fire-based damage dealer, and a fast dual dagger fighter for more agile playstyles. The good part is you're not locked into one way of playing. You can switch classes anytime outside missions, so the game stays fresh because you can constantly change your approach whenever you feel like it. Multiplayer is where it really hits harder. Co-op, both couch and online, makes everything more chaotic and fun in a good way. The game clearly feels built to be played with others. And yeah, if you're on Xbox, it's on Game Pass right now. No reason not to try it with your friends and see how far you can push it together. Scott Pilgrim EX feels like stepping back into the Scott Pilgrim universe, but without the overdone nostalgia bait. It's set after the anime Scott Pilgrim takes off, so the characters are more chill now, less chaotic than before, but of course, peace never lasts. Scott's friends get kidnapped by a mysterious entity alongside Metal Scott. So yeah, the solution is simple: beat everyone up across the streets of Toronto. The gameplay is straightforward. You're basically spamming combos, throwing enemies around, and using character skills while moving forward non-stop. There's a light RPG layer that slowly makes your character stronger, but it never interrupts the main rhythm. The core loop stays the same from start to finish. Move forward, fight, repeat. You can play solo or with friends, and both work well. Playing alone still feels smooth and doesn't feel like the game is forcing you into co-op. But once you go multiplayer, things get way more lively, with everyone causing chaos in their own corner of the screen. The game is clearly built to support that kind of flexible, pick up and play energy. Castle Crashers Remastered used to be a huge favorite among gamers. The vibe is already loud, messy, and fun, like a fantasy world that just doesn't care about rules. And that's exactly what makes it so addictive. You play as colorful knights, each with different magic abilities, and the mission is simple: smash everything in your path, rescue the princesses, and deal with the dark wizard. The progression system is pretty satisfying too. Every enemy you defeat gives you XP, and you can upgrade stats like strength, magic, defense, and agility. At first, your character feels pretty basic, but over time, you turn into a full-on powerhouse. Unlocking new combos also keeps the gameplay feeling a bit more fresh, even though honestly, the core loop is still mostly button mashing and good positioning. The most chaotic and fun part is definitely co-op. Playing with friends takes the game to another level. The screen gets total chaos, everyone is spamming attacks, stealing kills, and it's still incredibly fun. Both local and online multiplayer work great, and that's a big reason why this game is still worth playing today.
Better than rest.
After the success of TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Dotemu jumped into the Marvel Universe, and the result is still fun, brutal, and packed with chaos. That's Marvel Cosmic Invasion. The gameplay is crazy in a good way. You can keep chaining combos on enemies, throw people into traps, spam special moves, and call in your partner for team combos during fights. The duo character system makes the game feel more alive because you can switch heroes anytime you want. Every character also has their own style. Some heroes can fly and avoid traps easily, some are fast, dodge-focused fighters with quick combos, and others are heavy tanks that can block and parry attacks. The system feels good to use, even if the balancing is kinda weird sometimes. If you play co-op, the whole game becomes complete madness. 4 players with 8 characters on screen screen at once turns everything into pure chaos, but it's insanely fun. There are also challenges in every level that give the game solid replay value, because you can unlock costume colors, music tracks, and extra lore stuff. Rotwood is a beat-em-up roguelike with gameplay focused on co-op dungeon crawling, and it's just really fun to play. Yep, you and up to 3 friends can jump into dungeons, beat the hell out of corrupted monsters, grab resources, upgrade your gear, head back to your hub, and do it all over again. The roguelite formula itself is pretty standard, but the execution feels different because the combat isn't just mindless button mashing like a lot of cheap beat-em-ups out there. That said, the game isn't perfect. The biggest issue is definitely the roguelite side of things. Build variety feels pretty thin. You're not gonna find insane build combinations like in Hades or other top-tier roguelites. Rotwood cares more about player skill and combat mastery than crazy build experimentation. Solo play is still fun, but it doesn't feel nearly as alive as playing with a group. This game is clearly built for co-op chaos. When one friend is distracting the boss, another is reviving teammates, and everyone else is spamming combos together, that's when Rotwood really comes alive. If you've got a friend group that loves co-op games, this thing can get addictive fast. Streets of Rage 4 is one of those beat-em-up games that truly understands how to make simple gameplay look insanely cool. You can tell right away the game puts serious effort into its visual style. Every punch animation, attack effect, character design, and ruined city background looks amazing, and the brutal, stylish move animations make every fight fun to watch. Lizard Cube absolutely went crazy with the visuals here. Anyway, the combat isn't just mindless button mashing like a maniac. There's air juggling, bouncing enemies off walls to extend combos, and attack timing that makes fights feel way more technical and rewarding. The longer you play, the more you realize the combat system has ridiculous depth for a game in this genre. Yeah, this is one of the few games that actually makes the beat-em-up genre feel fresh again without losing its classic roots. A lot of nostalgia games fail because they either play it too safe or try way too hard to feel modern. But Streets of Rage 4 knows exactly when to be retro and when to evolve.
Final crash. Final crash.
TMNT Shredder's Revenge is one of those modern beat-em-up games that truly understands why old arcade games were so damn loved back in the day. The pixel art looks insanely good, packed with color, smooth animations, and a cartoon vibe that genuinely feels like watching a modern version of the old TMNT intro. They even brought back the classic voice actors, so the nostalgia actually feels earned instead of cheap fan service. The gameplay itself is simple, but what makes it really fun is how every character has a different playstyle. Yup, you can try it by yourself, and even though the campaign is short, skilled players can finish it in around an hour and a half, the game still makes you want to keep coming back, because there's a leveling system that gives every run a sense of progression, and the more you use a character, the more skills and buffs you unlock. Your health bar increases, new special moves open up, and extra abilities make the combat feel more varied over time. So even if you're replaying the same stages, the gameplay still feels like it's evolving. And that's it for today. Those were lists the top 15 modern beat-em-up games for 4-player co-op to play right now. Got a hidden gem I didn't mention? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video or discovered a new title to add to your collection, feel free to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you'll never miss future content. Once again, if you want to buy games with cheap price, the link in the description okay, so thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.